puts on the recording. Okay, welcome everybody. This is the Statutory Advisory Board meeting, giving you the notification that it is being held via Zoom under a law originally signed by Governor Baker in July of 2022 that grants authority for such meetings to be virtual. And it's been extended by Governor Healy through March 31, 2025. This meeting is being recorded. All SAB meetings are, and it allows for local recordings and makes such recordings available to the public. And I just want to welcome everyone. Happy December. And we're ready to start the agenda of the meeting. And the first item is actually, let me just see. Is Kathy on? I don't see her here to have an official vote. Okay, maybe I'll text her in a minute and we'll hold off on accepting the minutes and we'll go to John, Commissioner Oliveira, would you like to start? And I'm going to try and reach Kathy and see if she's able to attend.
Sure. Yeah, I haven't seen Kathy check in yet, but
she just texted me. I'm waiting to get into the meeting. She probably is. My guess is she's using the new link instead of the old one. So let me.
I can resend it to her really quickly.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, Lucy can help out with that. All right. There's always a technical difficulty or technical issue in these meetings, and we just have to learn to go with the flow. So I'll give Kathy a second to get in here, and so I will proceed, and then we can do that vote after, Brian, if that works for you guys.
That's fine. Thank you.
We'll just talk about the earmarks. We have distributed funding to all but one of the organizations that I'm aware of, half of the funding. So Administration of Finance rules and regulations at this point in the fiscal year allows us to distribute 50% of the funds, and I've informed the vendors and they're okay with that. And we did an expedited payment so that they have received half of the earmark. So that includes the radio reading services, Carroll Center, Mass Association of Blind and Visually Impaired, and Polis has a contracted portion of that earmark to provide in-home training services, and they will contract that with a company to help deliver those services. So that's good. We're moving that right along. Again, I was at the Bay State Council conference this month, and one of the questions that was asked is how often or how many times can someone go back for training? We don't have a cap on it. Contact the vendor, and I think if you make good progress, they will be glad to let you come back and schedule you. But if you're going back over the same items day in and day out, maybe they, might not have the time to work with you on it if you need so much working. But it's really, you can go back as many times, as you have a new project or refresher on what you've learned there before. So obviously they'll want to give everyone a chance to go that wants to go, and then they'll give folks who have been there before opportunity to go. But the earmark is probably substantial enough to take care of the demand that's out there. So don't be bashful if you learn something there and something new comes up that you want to learn. By all means, reach out to your worker here at the agency. Reach out to and they'll make the referral over to the vendor, or you can reach out to the vendor and they will notify the worker here at the agency, whichever works. But we want to make sure that everyone gets as much as they need from these earmarks. Also, the Carroll Center has also opened a question, sort of a technology question line. I believe it's on Mondays, but you can reach out to them and ask directly if I have it wrong. But I think it's on Mondays from 3 to 5. So if you have questions and you're hung up on something, and you can give them that person a call. I don't know if they have a message, but they do have someone answering their phones, I believe now. So you will get someone that can provide assistance, and can ask what you do for that. If you are not getting a response or no one knows what you're talking about, ask for Dina Rosenbaum and she'll clarify and make sure everybody is on the same page. But also MABV the same way. If you get hung up on an issue, you can reach out to them and whoever you worked with, just leave them a message and maybe they can call you back and give you some quick information over the phone. So the vendors are there and available. So let's use them as much as we can and make sure that the earmarks are well spent and well utilized by the community. Next item is the dashboard. Dashboard that was asked for to provide more information regarding different aspects of MCB services and client services, and who we're serving and how many we're serving. So we're working on that. Nate Scrockey's been leading that effort. It's over in contracts now, just about ready to go. And sorry, I forgot to turn off my phone. So we'll get that on the street soon. It'll be out for bid, and we'll take it forward from there, and then we'll give you updates as we start updating that here. The media campaign is over, so you won't be seeing the ads on TV for a while anyway, and we'll just evaluate to see what kind of response we keep getting from the public and from consumers who may have come across those ads, and we'll evaluate for continued marketing services in the future. So I see there's some other changes going on. So you'll be seeing some other marketing campaigns from other agencies. It appears to be a lot of folks are getting on board, and we'll be doing some advertising, but it's not, you'll see it when it hits the media. But MCB is going to not be in the media for a little while. So also strategic mapping. I've mentioned this before, that the Secretary Walsh would like us to, like all of the agencies under Executive Office in Health and Human Services, to participate in strategic plan. So we started that. We had a final presentation meeting last Thursday, and we have a handoff meeting, I think it's tomorrow, if I was reading my schedule correctly, on this is where the agencies materials will be turned over, and the agencies will move into the implementation stage. So we will talk more about this probably in January, tell you our mission statement and vision and all that sort of thing. But we'll bring that up in January. We've had a team working here at the agency on developing. It was a 4-month process, and now all the agencies have presented the work of the past 4 months with the assistance of the consulting group, and now we're ready to move into the handoff to the agency and go into the implementation stage. Again, we'll talk more about that next month, and you'll probably be seeing our mission statement and vision up on our website, and hear all about it. We'll be talking about it here at the agency with all our staff, and keep working on those sort of things. We're also working on a brochure under the direction of our communications director. Mike has been leading the charge on this, has reached out to all the different staff at the department heads at the agency and other staff. And we're almost just about at the final draft, and we'll be working on getting this moved out to a company to do design, and we'll have it available electronically. And we haven't had an updated brochure of services since probably maybe 2 commissioners ago. So I think that's the last I remember printing. As a matter of fact, I don't know, maybe about a year and a half ago, some staff were looking for brochures and just reached out and grabbed a stack that were sitting in a storage area, and didn't look down, but on one of them, or on that batch, there was a former commissioner's name on that. So when they got to the site, they realized that it was not an up-to-date one. But so we're very we've been working on that. It's ready to go. We'll be working on design, and we'll have it available over the next period of time. We're looking for funds and to move to take care of it. These things always end up costing a good amount of money, but we have it, and we can certainly have the publication ready in a few months and ready to supply to our staff when they continue to do in-services. Speaking of in-services, a lot of our staff are getting a lot more requests for in-person in-services, which is good. We're back to what we used to do before the pandemic, out there educating different organizations, different companies, different service providers. So we're getting a lot of requests. There's a lot more health fairs happening in person now. So it'll come very handy when we can use this brochure and other materials to help spread the agency's new vision and mission, and talk about things that will be happening. As far as some other activities, we're still getting a lot of positive feedback on the White Cane event. I'm glad that we did that event in person. People really enjoyed themselves there, and I still, when I go places, people talk about they heard about the White Cane event, or they were there, and they really enjoyed it. Again, thank you to our Ali Bull and all of the team that was part of that. We're starting to kick off planning here at the agency for the Pre-Employment Transition Services Conference that we've been holding for the past number of years, and starting to pull the committee together and develop the agenda for that day event, so that we can make sure that teachers of the visually impaired are getting the latest information on pre-employment transition services and other types of training that they'll be partaking in that day, so that we can be assured that our pre-employment transition service providers are able to serve our close to 200 consumers who are between the ages of 14 and 22. And that's, we have some discussions going on the job fair, already starting to plan for next year. So there's all these events that we do take quite a while pulling things together, and so many of you are experience the end, but if you've all planned events, you know how much work goes into all these things to make sure that everything happens exactly as it should. Budget-wise, we are moving right along. You may have just seen that the governor signed the budget yesterday. Finally, they got the budget to her desk. She signed it, I think, I was told 18 minutes after it was on her desk. So this will be good. It will provide a lot of needed funding for the migrant situation. And also it will grant pay raises that were agreed to last year for that would to start in July, and that'll grant those pay raises and also any back pay that was due to the staff that works for the agencies throughout the Commonwealth. And so that'll be that was a nice little Christmas gift for all, and certainly had been expected, but there was a substantial delay in doing that. So we're busy closing our federal fiscal year 22 grant that we're just liquidating the grant now. We're in the liquidation phase. I'm just making sure everything gets paid off that's going to get paid off. And if there's any, and we will move on to, as we are working on the fiscal year 23 federal grant at this point. That's what's paying for a lot of the services that we're delivering to our consumers at this point. The continuing resolutions have been signed on. We're on the second continuing resolution on the federal level. So we will get funding after those are over, and we will receive our federal grant. But we're in good shape. We have state funds on hand, and like I said, we're working on using the federal fiscal year 23 grant that is currently paying for services being delivered now, and our staff salaries and all the overhead, along with the state funding that we are using to do the matching, and also are using the state funds to provide services to our social rehab consumers and our children. So things are going well. On the just a little bit of news on the office situation at MCB. So the lease at our current address in Boston, 600 Washington Street, will end at the end of calendar year 2024. So the agency that's in charge of acquiring spaces and managing moves and that sort of thing has started the process and is putting out an RFR looking for office space that may be available. So that's very early on in the process. This is a long process. They'll receive a variety of proposals as there's a lot of space becoming available in Boston. They'll receive some. We've asked for an office space that's located in the proximity to the State House, to 1 Ashburton, because we have a lot of meetings there, but we also have asked for a location that's located close to public transportation so that our consumers can get to the agency if needed. So we'll go through this process. I'm sure it will be just about a year-long process, and probably in December of next year, we'll be looking to packing up and moving someplace else. I mean, that's the current plan right now, and can things change? Obviously, we're very early on, so this is nothing is set in stone other than the fact that our lease ends at the end of the year, and the process has begun to find office space that might suit the agency's needs. So we obviously in that new space procurement have reduced the amount of space that we're going to be renting, because a lot of our staff are working out of their home and are visiting people on the road. So there's no need to have the the same amount of space that we have now, since we moved into this space in 2010, I believe. And so, and the work model was much different back then, where people came to the office a couple of times a week. But at the present time, our direct service staff are working the 2 days a week out of their home, and managers and supervisors are coming in for a couple of days a week. So it's a lot less space that's required. So we'll discuss that as we move along in the process. But that's what's going on in there. So also this week, I had the pleasure of sitting down and meeting with Lieutenant Governor at her office at the State House. We spent a good amount of time together and talked about the different programs and different services the agency offers, and just sort of get to know you sort of meeting. We have met each other at public events briefly before, but we actually got a chance to sit down and spend a good amount of time together and discuss services for the blind and different things going on, and so it was a very good event, and it was a good opportunity for me to get to know the Lieutenant Governor a little better and that sort of thing. I also had the chance to go to the Carroll Center for the Blind's Technology Fair. A good turnout. Lots of consumers were there. Our usual assistive technology companies were there and showing some new products and showing some older products. Had a chance to visit at the Carroll store, and well stocked, and people were buying a lot. I even picked up something at the store. So it's a good, like I said, good turnout, and it's always an event that's well attended, and good to see that everybody is back, and numbers were pretty good. I mean, the hall was pretty full, and people seemed to be comfortable and getting around and getting their hands on technology and checking out new items, and it seemed like back to normal, and checking things out, and getting some of that information that people need to make those decisions they need, that will help them get the equipment that'll help them in their home and their work, and anything else that may need help. So I'm going to turn it over to, I'll give it back to you, Brian. Nate is here, and we'll be glad to do a presentation on the dashboard.
Yeah, thanks, John. Let's just quickly go back to the actually board to vote on the minutes from the last November. So if Kathy or Blair have any questions or edits on the minutes, we could do that now or afterward, but if there are changes,
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the previous meeting.
Okay.
I'll second that. No
Okay.
edits or changes.
All right, thank you. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. So that's officially approved, and we'll now move on to Nate. Thank you for updates.
Good afternoon, everybody. Nate Scrocky with MCB. As John had mentioned, we are in the process of putting out the RFR for a dashboard that will hopefully be going out in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully when we talk next month, we'll be talking about the amount of responses we're getting back for that, hopefully. So I'm going to share my screen here to go over the stats. Again, not a lot of changes from the last couple months here. Let's see. There we go. All right, so I brought up the Excel spreadsheet that has the statistics on it, which were run this morning. So total number of registrations, we're at 1675. So it looks like we're going to come in a little bit lower than last year, which we discussed the last few months. That's the expectations at this point. We had kind of an increase of registrations coming off the COVID years last year, and still getting quite a few registrations in. I know the team's very busy. And 1675 as of this morning. We currently have no registrations in process anywhere. All registrations are that have been received have been sent out to the various regions and are being served at this point. So I'm guessing we are going to get more as the day goes on. Those will be processed as they come in, and we'll move forward for those. Small increase in pretty much all the cases this month. We're up to 848 cases in SR children. That's up 9 cases, 2,085 in SR adults, and 1130 in SR DBES. So both up around the 20 mark from last time. Open VR cases. We have 732 currently for adults, 203 for pre-ETs, and 15 transition youth. Closed cases, and now we're in December here, so we're really taking a hard look at what they look like compared to last year. And we are at 107 closed children cases here at the beginning of December. Last year we were at 98. The year before we were at 119. So we're kind of in line with the last 2 years for closing cases. We are at 2,055 for SR adults. That's up over the 1,991 we had last year, and the 1,449 we had the year before that, which was much smaller because COVID really slowed things down with everything across the board that year. But the year 2020, we're at 1986, so really in line where we've been the last few years with the amount of SR folks closing. Closed VR cases. Now this is just for the fiscal year, not the total year. So this is from July 1st forward. We're at 57 successful closures for VR this year and 44 unsuccessful closures. Looking at the numbers last year, right around the same amount. So we're in line. I know we usually have an increase in the spring of numbers. So we'll see if that happens again this year. And then support services, we're close to 4,000 referrals this year. 3,886 last year. And then the year before COVID, 2020, we were at 4,271. So right in line with that. And auxiliary services, these are registration tasks. We've done 7,507 certificates of blindness through the registration team this year. That this does not include the numbers that go through staff that run them on their own, or so someone might call work and say, I really need a COB real quick, and instead of going to registration units, the workers do have the capacity to send those out too. So quite a few COBs going out. We're at 1,026 IDs this year. That's a little bit higher than last year. We're 50 higher than we are last year. We expected an increase over these last 2 years because of the assessor's office now accepting IDs as well as COBs for tax abatements. So we did see a few people because of that option coming in and get IDs this year. EDPs right in line with last year. We had 487 last year. We're currently at 467. And then handicap placard submissions, 78 last year and 60 this year. So not a lot of changes over the last few months. Things have been holding pretty steady. We're going to continue to hopefully get that RFR out for the dashboard. And once that gets put in place, we'll be able to use that moving forward to review our numbers. It'll be in real time, and people can check it at any point. So I'm excited about that project for sure. Does anybody have any questions?
Nate, this is Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Nate, and everybody. Regarding the dashboard, is that external facing, or would that just be like for internal use?
It will be external facing. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And is it this type of information that you're sharing with us in your spreadsheet that will be up there? Or if you wouldn't mind just maybe providing a little more information about what the dashboard will entail?
Yeah, we're still fleshing out the RFR, but yes, the information that we're seeing here, basically all of that will be on there. Some demographic information and some other things we're hoping to include as well. We really need to figure out what the capabilities to share in real time are. There's some things that just might not be able to be pulled accurately from the data that we have to share in real time. So it might end up being something that's updated weekly or every so often, if it doesn't make sense to do it real time to get what we want on there, or we might have to let go of some of the things that we want to keep it in real time. So that's a discussion we'll have with the vendor. Obviously, we'll take any type of suggestions that folks have or might want to see on that dashboard, and to try to include those as well.
Did you have a meeting recently to get input on the dashboard? I wasn't able to make it, but I remember it.
We did, and we had a lot of good suggestions for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
good, all right. And does that go into, what's the math system called? Combis or?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go through Combis, the RFR, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And when is the pre-ex conference? What time of year does that take place?
March.
March.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Nate? I don't see
Uh,
any
Those look
hands.
good.
And I just had a couple of questions
Sure, Blair.
related to the ID.
Yeah.
Is the blind ID accepted at town hall for getting a copy of your birth certificate? I've had a couple members of the visual community, vision impairment community, who are trying to get their what is it called, the real or new ID license, or state real ID, I guess it's called, and they need a birth certificate. And when they went to town hall, they presented their blind ID, and they said it has to be a real ID.
It has to be a real ID, as in like or like they need the real ID, like a state, like the. Oh, sorry.
Would the MCB blind ID be acceptable, especially if it's acceptable at the assessor's office of town hall?
Yeah, the assessor's office, I know, accepts our IDs for the abatements, so I would expect that it would be accepted. I can definitely, if you want to let me know what the town is, I can give them a call. I can also double check our policy, but they should be used for anything that a regular state ID is used for. The difference between the regular state ID and the state real ID is more of a travel thing, to board an airplane. So that's the first I've heard of someone not accepting it, and that they need a real ID to get a birth certificate. I know in some cases they want other things for a birth certificate as well. So I can definitely take a look a little bit deeper into it, but it's the first I've heard of someone not accepting it.
Perfect. And is there a policy on our website that our clients of the visually impaired community can direct someone to our website and actually read that the policy of the blind ID is acceptable in town halls and for these kinds of purposes? That might be helpful in the future.
Absolutely. I'll take a look and see if it is on the website. If not, we can definitely get something up there, Blair.
Okay. And the second question I had was our relationship with the Transit Authority. I guess for our members who need to renew their blind access travel card with the T, have to go to North Station still. Is there a possibility that we could have our cards updated at some of the major community transit systems, like Worcester Union Station and maybe New Bedford, or rather than having our people travel all the way into North Station?
I can reach out to them and ask them, Blair, to see if there's an option to move it outside just that location, and I can get back to you guys with an answer on that.
Even if it's one day every couple months, something like
Great,
that. Excellent. Thank you, Nathan.
no problem.
Good question, Blair. Okay, so this is, we kind of just did that with Kathy and Blair. If there were any other questions or comments from the SAB members, are you both all set then before we go to the public?
Can I ask a question of the commissioner?
Sure, of course.
So Commissioner John, you spoke about the strategic plan. Can you give us an idea of, is that like a 1-year plan, 3-year plan, 5-year plan? And when
That's,
presented in January, is that something that is presented to us as SAB members, or do we actually have input and can recommend some consideration?
so the strategic mapping, it's 3 to 5 years maybe, but at least 3 years.
Right.
The mission and a vision statement have been pulled together. Some of the priorities have been identified, say that 2 or 3. There are a few others, but I'm assuming that once we roll it out in public, that priorities could be added to that. Again, this is a new process. We're going to be going to a handoff meeting tomorrow, and we'll be getting instructions on how we're supposed to carry this out. I will ask that question, that if the vision statement and the mission statement is very, generically or whatever, it has the same similar feel to the old mission statement, obviously, because we're still here to serve the blind community. So that's not going to change that much. It's just a matter of wording and sort of things like that. But the priorities, we have priorities listed there that were developed by a team here at the agency of a variety of folks, the managers that have contact and some have had a lot of experience with the agency. Some were fairly new to the agency, so we could give a variety of perspectives. And so, yes, I think we will be able to add priorities, but we'll know more after our handoff meeting tomorrow.
Great, thank you. Because we're all new too, so.
I know.
That's awesome.
Are we sorry, Blair, this is Kathy. Are we receiving results of the consumer survey? That I thought I saw that on the agenda today. No?
Yeah, there were some off-channel emails. It's not approved yet or cleared yet for
okay.
us to get it. So
Yeah.
I didn't bother bringing it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully
still
soon.
waiting for that
It's in progress.
Okay.
It's a long process when you want to release something, so it's well on the way. And when we get it, I think an email I saw described, Michael described the process that we have to go through. It's quite lengthy. Anything that we do in state government comes with, obviously, or federal government comes with a level of bureaucratic type things that are put in place for certain reasons, and we are following those as we're asked to. But I think it'll be there. Hopefully, some folks will do some work over the holidays, and hopefully in January we can roll it out and release it, and it'll be available to everyone who is interested in looking at it. And we'll take out some pieces of it and talk about it here at this meeting. Or anyone can read it and bring up, and we'll discuss whatever is in there. But it's in progress. It just takes a long time to get something.
When Michael sent me an email, I think there were 11 and one optional 12th step that would be required to get through the system. So I was like, okay, now I understand why it's taking so long. But hopefully, as John said, we'll have it resolved soon.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you for the update.
Yeah.
I have just one last question regarding, let's say, employment events. The pre-employment training and the job fair. Are those MCB planned events, and as SAB members, do we have an opportunity to attend and contribute ideas or?
Sure. No, they're MCB planned events, but we also involve people from the outside. So for the pre-employment transition, we have some vendor providers that are on there, and we also have a teacher of the visually impaired providing that perspective. If you folks if anyone here would like to attend, we can certainly send you a schedule of meetings, and if you're available, you can attend. But it's we definitely hold them all on Zoom, and we're just starting to kick that off for the pre-employment transition now. So I can talk to our training director, and she can send out information to any of you guys if the three of you, if you're interested in attending.
Thank you. That
Thank
would
you.
be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, and as we, for our own reference, the members of SAB have obviously interest in participating or helping where we feel we have skill sets or would like to be more involved. And these are examples, as Blair just brought up. I know personally I have a lot of interest in strategic planning as well, and I understand that process is different, but I'd love to see what is there at some point and provide even feedback. So that those are the things we like to do, and I would look for opportunities, and I appreciate that very much.
We will offer those as much as possible.
Yeah, appreciate it. So I will now go to the public. If anyone has any questions, they can raise their hands. If you have difficulty, speak up. I see a few already. Debbie, you're up first, and then David is next.
Hi, I just wanted to ask if in the planning of the brochure, if there was going to be like a QR code, not QR code, or that square that they have that you just hold your phone in front
QR
of.
code.
QR code, okay. Or some type of smaller brochure type of piece of paper, because I would just find that helpful at like events or at doing community service when people want information, instead of perhaps a brochure is just something small they can walk away with. That's it. I just wanted to suggest that, and maybe there is one and I don't even know it, but I was just hoping one of those might show up. Thank you.
Okay, so we have been trying QR codes here at the agency when we offer conferences or trainings. So we've done that. I don't think Mike is on this call. Are you here, Mike? I don't see his name up there. But I will check with him. We haven't done anything yet, so could be a possibility that we could put a QR code on the brochure or up on the website on our website where we're going to be displaying it. So that's definitely something that we've experimented with, and I'll make sure put it on the radar. Okay.
That'd be great, because then it would add an audio possibility to it, an audio description.
Yep. Oh, we'll have an audio option for that. No worries about that.
Very good. Thank you. David Kingsbury, you're up next.
Yes, thank you. Follow up on what Blair asked about the strategic mapping. Sometimes those strategic type exercises, people, are sort of rather skeptical or cynical about those because often, and probably more often than not, they're sort of more just sort of bureaucratic requirements where you just sort of spit out, here's what we've been doing in the past, and we're just going to keep doing more of the same thing. I've seen lots of those. But, if you think this is truly a serious exercise, I would second what Blair said and really try to be somewhat systematic or strategic in getting input from the blindness community, consumer organizations, some of your major service providers, et cetera, because there are certainly lots of questions that we could ask, and we ask all the time about, how things could be done better given changing times,
Mhm.
What are things we should be doing more of, or you should all be doing more of, doing less of, and then matching resources to that. But I would hope this is a serious, meaningful exercise and not just one more bureaucratic type thing. And if it is, I think it would be good to have, a more participatory approach with input from the various stakeholders.
Yeah. No, I believe that I believe this is going to be a very serious exercise. The secretary has sat in on all the meetings that we've had up there jointly with all the agencies in the same room, the consultants, her chief of staff, other folks that are going to be working on this. The secretary was there on Thursday with us again, and believe me, she had questions on everybody's slide deck that we were presenting. So she had definitely had reviewed and read everything, and was really grasping what this is about. There have been quarterly meetings set up that the agencies will come and we will provide updates on what's going on, and if what hangups are occurring, if we need any of their help, the consultation, that sort of thing. I believe it's a very serious effort, because I think she really wants to see things improve. The main thing to bring us all together, the main point was that we serve a lot of the same consumers under Office of Health and Human Services. Many of our consumers that we serve here at MCB are receiving services from other agencies, DDS, DTA, Mass Health, Elder Affairs. All these agencies, we're all in the same secretariat, and MRC and Commission for the Deaf. So we're sitting there, and we share a lot of these same things. She does want agencies to work together. She's very, very big, and agencies are very big on collaborating with each other. We're not interested in recreating something that exists at another agency, that if our consumer is eligible to receive that, why should we create it? They can receive it from the other agency. So, and same thing with them in our case. So it is, the way consumers, we talked about a lot about how consumers enter the agencies. I mean, MCB again is a little different than all the rest, because you come to our agency with a report of legal blindness. So we're not questioning you on can you see? How much can you see? What can you see? Your doctor has already declared you legally blind, or in some cases for voc rehab purposes, visually low vision. So there's no question that when you come here, you're coming to get the services that we provide. Where other agencies, you have to go through different procedures. So that's some of the talking that might occur. It might be to change some things or to make them simpler to get in the door.
Well, it's good. It's good that the secretary sounds really engaged. So that'll be
very
helpful.
She's right on top of the game here, and she meets with all of us one-on-one. We have agency head meetings on a monthly basis, and there'll be now these additional quarterly meetings to get up for everyone to update each other on what they're doing. And her team there is very motivated and very dedicated to moving this forward. And a lot of the agencies, none of us were familiar with this type of, let's all join together and do a strategic mapping exercise. But we're all on board now, and we're all seeing, like, let's see what we can do together, and how much better we can offer services to consumers, and can we do it faster, more seamless than what we're doing now, and not complicate. She wants to make things as simple as possible, but there is still the issue that we are responsible to Rehab Service Administration. Other organizations don't. Other agencies have nothing to do with that organization. They are under other federal organizations where they get their funding, where we have nothing to do with them. So, one thing I did neglect to mention in my remarks there was that Nate again has been leading the charge on the WIOA state plan. It has to be updated this year. And again, we are in collaboration with a variety of other agencies on the federal side for WIOA, but all the variety of agencies on the state are receiving funds from those partners in the Workforce Investment Opportunity Act. So therefore, there's another chance that we will another opportunity for us all to work together and continue to refine what we're doing here. So it is to sort of make it easier for someone to access services. It's sort of to make it easier that we're teaching each other about where to tell people to look for certain services. And also, I'm sure there'll be an involvement in teaching staffs of the agencies how to refer or what agencies do what, so they have a better understanding of how to get that information to consumers, either in person or via Zoom or other means through brochures that may be going out. So it's
all right. Thank you.
Mhm.
That sounds great. I'm going to keep moving because we have other hands up. Jane, you're up next, and then Sandra.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Hello, everybody. This is Jane Perry, Region 5, Cape Cod Connection here in Falmouth. First of all, I want to talk about communication. Thank you for reiterating about the earmarks. Yesterday, I had a conversation with my SR counselor, and she put in a referral to the Polar Center so I can get assistive technology training in my home. Thank you very much.
So Jane,
Also,
Jane, you brought that up at the Bay State Council, and I told you I talked to Robin, right? So
the other
we
thing
get it
is,
done.
this is the second time since you've been commissioner that I received a newsletter. I think that's so important to keep consumers in the loop of what's going on. My question is the integration of the telephone system. When is it going to happen? Did consumers get involved in the process, or did you ask consumers for input? And is it going to be speaking, or you have to touch the keypad? I am concerned about the older individuals such as myself or other people that have dexterity and other mobility issues. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak and offer my comments.
Sure. So the telephone system is something that was started quite a while ago. So the latest I'm hearing from, and remember, we're part of a phone system. I believe it's going to serve, somewhere close to, 15, 20,000 employees throughout different agencies.
Correct.
So MCB is getting a system, but it isn't a system that specifically was designed for MCB. So what was done by when they were seeking input about the system, that meetings were held with a variety of agencies that are going to be using this system, and all of the features that you mentioned, we definitely said we wanted. But at the end, when they collect all the requirements, they call it, they tell you, well, we'll do as many as we can. It's not a personal phone system for the agency. It's a large system. So therefore, we at the agency have not seen what features are available or not. They're currently deploying it in a variety of some other agencies, and it's taken a while to deploy. It's not like you turn it on and Monday we're all online and it happens. It takes quite a bit of time to get one agency all lined up, because even once they get it working, then all the features have to be activated, and then people are using it and problems come up, and then they have to troubleshoot what's going on. So therefore, all I'm being told by the IT folks, who are again outside of our agency, they telling us, yes, you are in line. I try to pin someone down, our contact down on when, and he said probably sometime middle of next year. So
Okay,
that's pretty much it's sort of a vague answer, but that's all I have as far as information goes on that.
Thank you very much. I will keep on top of it and following up with it about
All
you.
right.
Thank you very much.
All right.
wait till the middle of next year.
I'll keep checking.
I'll be waiting patiently.
All righty.
Sandra Burgess, you're up.
Hi, Commissioner John. Thank you for all that you're doing for all of us.
How are you, Sandra?
I'm going to continue with the phone system. My issue is that I have not needed assistance from the commission since 2018. So at this point, now that we've gone into everybody having cell phones and my friends are all calling, somebody's cell phone number to get assistance, I don't have a case manager, or I don't know who that person is, so I have no number. And when I call the Springfield office,
they'll help you.
well, I've called the Springfield office more than once, and the only way that you can leave a message is with the general box, which
Okay.
evidently nobody pays much attention to because nobody is calling me back.
Okay. I will look
Not
into that
even-
for you.
Not even the regional director, who I met at an NFB special event almost 2 weeks ago. I
Mhm.
explained everything to her. She gave me her cell phone number.
Right.
I called it and left a message. Now, maybe this is, just a typical thing, and she's very overworked. But it's been, about 2 weeks, and I have not received any call back. So that's just my concern, because I'm sort of out of the loop and I don't have somebody's case manager number to dial, and I can't get anywhere calling the Springfield office.
Okay. So we have our toll-free number in Boston, 1-800-392-6450. You can always call that number, but you have a
Okay.
number in Springfield, and they should be answering that telephone. So I will look into that, and we'll follow up, and you'll get a call back very soon.
Okay. I don't mean to be a big complainer. I know that there's been a lot going on with the
We like
agency.
to hear if there's any service issues, if there's any issues like this, we like to resolve it and find a remedy for it. And but it should we'll look into it.
Okay.
Thank you,
I appreciate
Commissioner.
that.
Thank you, Sandra. I'm going to wrap it up in about 30 seconds. But I do want to remind everybody, for the next meeting, we do have a different Zoom link because it's a new new calendar year, I should say. So be aware of that for everybody, that the one that we're using today will not work in January. I know that's in the calendar and it should be all set, but I'll just make sure people are clear about it. Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I hope everyone has a great holiday season, and thank you, Commissioner, and we will all talk soon. Thanks very much.
Happy holidays to all.
Thank you.